Great experiences build great leaders. Great leaders build great teams. This is Building Great Sales Teams.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Building Great Sales Teams podcast. I've got a very, very special guest with us today, Mark Evans, DM. The DM is for Deal Maker. He's a 12-time best-selling author. He's got businesses in real estate, restaurants, media companies, e-commerce, private lending, just to name a few. Mark started out in a trailer park in Ohio and has worked his way to 30-plus businesses and has been coined the Deal Maker as a result of his success. Welcome to the show, brother.
Thanks, Doug, for having me, man.
Absolutely. So I want to kick it off. Let's have a little fun here. I was on your Instagram, cyber stalking you, checking you out, and I noticed one of your posts, you were talking about turning $1 into $45,500. How do you even begin to do that?
Well, I mean, it's called being resourceful. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I know you talk about sales guys. Sales guys turn millions of dollars from $0. They just got to work and with specialized knowledge. In that particular deal, that was actually a CESA account with my son's account, the Coverdell, which is a self-directed kids account for school and such. So we put my parents put $2,000 a year in there because I can't legally, because I make too much money. But $2,000 a year in there, and we took $1 from that account, tied up that property. We actually purchased it. We didn't even option it. The guy was just done. Bought it for $1. And cleaned it up a tad and sold it for 45 and change.
Very nice. Yeah, I heard your son in the video, and I was like, did I hear that right? Or did they just kind of cover whoever you were teaching their video? No, that's awesome.
I do that often, man. I get my daughter. I have a 4-year-old daughter, and my wife, and then my son. He's 7.5 now. But I sit down and do those little things for them all the time. Kind of they're the best audience in the world. They think all my jokes are funny.
Yeah, that couldn't be more true. My daughter thinks I hung the moon, man, and I'm wondering how long it's going to last. She just turned 12 years old, so I'm holding on for dear life.
Absolutely, man. That's awesome.
Well, speaking of your family, with everything that you've got going on, how do you, I guess it's not balance, how do you align the business with your family? Do you have them traveling with you, or kind of what are some of your strategies there to make sure you all stay connected?
Well, to me, everyone talks about balance. To me, it's priorities, right? Yeah. Priorities. My family's priority number one. But I work from virtual. I'm virtual. I've been virtual since 2005. I've been virtual before it was cool and forced upon people. So, it's never been easier to do that. But, another thing too, man, as I've gotten older in the game, I'm over almost 27 years in business, is I've realized I only get involved in businesses that serve me instead of me serve the business. And I have real businesses. People that are talking about balance, they don't really have a business. They just have a high-paying job, trying to figure out how to do everything. They're control freaks. They don't let go. They don't understand how to hire. They don't understand what SOPs are and handing stuff off. And I'm not saying, trust but verify structures. But right. Yeah, man, I'm busy, but I'm busy on doing stuff like this. Honestly, I'm more focused on one-to-many processes. I have amazing teams. I have a lot of people that work with me now at this point. But I'm not into day-to-days of any of these companies at all. No one's waiting for me to make a decision. Typically they're calling me for strategic growth, resources and big problems. I want the real big problems, the ones that are like, oh shit, things are happening. I need you. But if that's happening every day, either I didn't hire the right people or I didn't build the right company,
No, that makes a lot of sense. You're obviously one of those guys that when somebody asks, what do you do? It's kind of hard to answer, right? And so I'll ask a different question. What's your favorite thing that you're doing right now?
Listen, I have a fintech company that we've been building for about almost 2 years now. And that's I love what I get to do every day, to be honest with you, even the crappy stuff, because I know you got to take the good with the bad. But at the end of the day, the fintech company is very big. Not all businesses are created equal. That's one thing I wish I'd have learned when I started my gutter company when I was 18 years old, is you have to work for real to make barely a living. And then there's other things like affiliate marketing, just different types of marketing and business and high ticket sales and all that, where I could literally sit on the beach and make 20, 30, 40, 50 grand a week or whatever, more or less, whatever, depending on what you're selling. But there's a lot of cool opportunities out there, man. But right now, I'm very excited to be building a company. We've got an office here in Boca. I don't go to it. I don't even know the address, but we have a lot of people in there. We have about 3,000, people working with us in that company. So it's starting to pick up some speed right now.
Can you walk us through the company? What is FinTech and what does it do?
Yeah, FinTech. So, we start off with employee retention credits. If you're familiar with
nice.
that, one is helping business owners get access to money. And then we also have a lot of other products and services that we have behind the scenes. And that's done through technology and humans, right? I think let's not forget the best technology, humans, minus all the headaches and heartaches and showing up and managing them. But, listen, it's just chess game. We help a lot of people get money. We help a lot of people get more money. And then we also help them save it, grow it, and such.
Are you guys taking advantage of the R&D credits also? Are y'all diving into that?
Yeah. We've been doing that for a long time, actually. So, yeah, we've been involved in those things for a decent amount of time at this point.
Very cool. And if someone wanted to get in touch with y'all about those two particular things, the ERC or the R&D credits, where's the best place for them to go? Yeah,
you can go over to ercfasttrack.com and just fill out the form, and it's very simple. We've given away billions of dollars to this point, which is really cool. It's a credit, so it's not free money. It's your money. Just as a business, you're getting it back. This only qualifies if you have W-2 employees and such. But it's been really amazing, man. We've changed a lot of people's lives with that credit, and the testimonials we give every single day is absolutely insane because it's real volume at this point.
No, it's real too because I would say 2 years ago, I met somebody at a networking event and he walked me through everything, and I went ahead and applied for it. Went through his company, and he ended up getting me like $180,000. Which was fantastic. That was seed money for a future business. So it worked out really great.
Yeah, it's an amazing grant. People take it seriously. And only about 10% of people right now even know or have taken advantage of it at this point, So something people should definitely look into ASAP because it does go away. It is going away. It's diminishing every quarter. It goes a little bit less right now, up to 26,000 employee, but that's going down a little bit every quarter.
Okay. So let's kind of go back to, Ohio and 18 years old, and you bought a gutter business for 2,000. Like, what was the catalyst for, obviously, you talk about in your profile, you wanted to get out of poverty, but how did you know it was owning a small business and not just going to college like everybody else? And especially this was back in 96. Yeah. So that was the route back then. So what inspired you to go entrepreneurship instead?
Well, it definitely wasn't the route back then where I come from.
Okay.
So money and grades and all that and athleticism. Listen, man, I was never a school guy. I want to make money. I've always been a want to make money guy. As a kid, 7 years old, I'm selling my sister's toys in recess during rain break. During recess with rain, you're inside. So I always prayed for rain so I could stay in there and hustle some deals, make $2 or whatever. But the gutter company, I always knew I wanted to work for myself. I didn't like taking orders from anybody. I wanted to be in charge of my destiny. And I never understood. You understand, man, I wrote a book about this called Magician vs. Mule. I saw my mom and dad get muled out their whole life, my whole child life, watching them work their tail off, barely making ends meet, literally playing bill roulette. And these are hardworking, everyday people, you know what I mean? So I'm like, listen, this is, and they got to do stuff they don't want to do for the people they don't like and go to work with people they don't like. I just never understood, why would you do this to yourself? I always wanted to work with people I like to work with, do the things I want to do, not be told what to do, but to create and build and grow and be in charge of my destiny. So that's what I did. Business to me was like the only way out. What else could I do? And like you said, Seamless Gutter Company. It was actually 1,000 down in 287 for 5 years. Yeah. So that was a wild deal. I purchased it 2 days after high school and got to work.
So how did you go to market with that company?
Actually, knowing what I know now, I should have done a lot more of that early on. It was actually a company that was in existence for 16 years. So the day I bought the company, the phone was blowing up. You don't have to really do much when the phone's blowing up. This is phone book days. Most people don't even understand that. But this is phone book days, print out flyers, put on cars, put on front doors, door knock. That's what we did. Put signs in the front yard to get more business. I didn't understand direct mail like I understand it now. Social media and internet didn't exist in 96. We actually had to get out and actually work to get a lead.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why I probably have a little bit different relationship with how we build companies, because it needs to be more personable for sure.
No, that makes a lot of sense, and especially back then. And I love that you said door knocking, because that's actually what I've done for the past 13 years. That's the companies that I've built out have all been door knocking sales orgs for like AT&T, Vivint, DirecTV, stuff like that. And I'm kind of curious. Do you still remember your pitch at the door?
No, dude. Back then, I literally just got off the job site. I'd knock on the door and say, hey, Doug. I just did the house 2 doors down. They needed gutters. I was driving by. I was worried about your gutters because, as you know, if it gets into your footers, you're going to end up having a leaky basement, et cetera, which costs a lot more money than fixing that gutter. I could get up there free of charge to get up there and take a look at it, investigate and see what's going on, and then give you a quote after that. It'll only take about 3 minutes. I don't even need you out here. I can just knock it out. And that would be my pitch. I mean, it was genuinely like, again, everyone needs your help. And now if you door knock, you're an anomaly, right?
Right.
No one's really doing it because it's not easy. It's not convenient. It's not scalable, even though it is scalable. And who said it was supposed to be easy? But it was a game to me, man. I love that. I'm getting excited talking about it because I love that stuff, man. I love chest to chest. I love just getting in there and figuring out how to weasel my way in the door and have conversations. And that's how we built our real estate company. Just saying, I mean, I built lots of companies with that model.
Mm-hmm. How did it work into the real estate side? Same concept? Were y'all doing FSBOs or? Yeah,
I mean, real estate FSBOs. I mean, FSBOs, obviously someone worked really hard to put a sign in the front yard, right? So you go out there, you stop by and say, hey, just driving by, I'm interested in your property. Why are you selling? That's the first question. If they say, I just won the lottery and I don't need the money and I'm not looking to sell, I'm just put a sign in the yard. That's not a motivated seller. But, if their house is, overgrown grass, there's trash in the driveway, yard, mail's everywhere, the house is in Deschamps, like these are great prospect or opportunities to stop by and knock on the door and connect with someone at the house. Keep in mind, some of these areas I was doing that in are a little choppy. So be careful with that now. But it's a very, again, anytime you're out and around and you see something that could be a prospect, you should stop and knock on the door and talk to someone.
No, I love it. I think that's a big part. Well, and I'm assuming here, but that's a big part of why maybe business feels a lot easier now, just different problems, right? But before you had to go out and hustle and knock on doors and deal with the elements and pissed off people and everything. And now it's a little different.
Well, looking back, I had to deal with it, but I didn't have to deal with it. I just didn't know any better. So it was great learning for me. Now you can hire people to do it for you. There's companies that you can hire, right? I could have hired an employee, but no one knocks on the door as good as I do. No one can, I didn't have a SOP. I didn't know how to train someone to do it because I genuinely am very aware and I'm kind of curious all the time. Just still, it's my personality. Even though everyone's like, curiosity killed the cat. Well, curiosity's made me millions, many millions. Just like, what do you do, Doug? How do you do that? Tell me more.
Yeah.
I genuinely want to know. Like, hey, your house looks like shit. Something's going on. How can I help you? You say it a little bit differently, but that's like what's going on in my brain. So the thing is, I think why most people don't do it, Doug, is, they're afraid of rejection and fear and all this stuff. Like, if you don't ask, the answer's already no. So, but if you do ask, the percentages go up when yeses come out,
100%. And then after 4 to 8 no's is where that yes comes out, right?
Well, you never know. You know how it is, man. It's, first of all, everyone does this. It's called dating. Not everyone.
Yep.
It's a percentage game. And listen, the odds are stacked in your favor. As a male, if I walk into a club and there's 100 females and only me, my odds go up drastically. If it's the opposite, it's going to be a little bit different animal, So the thing is, too, is not all businesses, not all situations are created equal. If you're going in, for example, in real estate, if I was going into a real estate marketplace where it's heavy rental, I could stop and talk to 1 million people a day. But these are the tenants. They're not the owners. So they don't have any say, nor are they going to tell the owner to contact me because they know when they sell a rental, the rent usually goes up. At least that's their perception. So for me, it's like you got to learn, the dynamics to put yourself, in the best situation to convert at a higher level.
So in your day-to-day business or when you're out there dealing with people, do you have kind of a concept or a way that you teach, that chest to chest type stuff where you can read body language or anything like that? Are you looking at that type of stuff or is it all instinct?
Yeah. I mean, at this point, just so you know, I'm not in the day-to-days at all. Like I have guys, I have sales trainers for my teams. I have COOs, I have CEO. I'm more of an owner at this point. I've always wanted to be Robert Kraft, not Tom Brady. I know everyone likes to be Tom Brady because when all the blitz. Dude, at this point, I'm 44. I don't want anybody to know me. I just want the money and the freedom.
Okay.
I'm not chasing money. I'm chasing more time freedom.
Okay.
So that's where I invest a lot of energy at. But listen, I think at the end of the day, I genuinely love people. I like people. I love helping people. And if I can't help them, maybe I know someone that can, right? You and I are starting to get to know each other. I'm sitting at the club. I'm having, a lunch date with my wife. Guys like you and I, man, we have hyper alert. Like we can literally hear a bird chirping about a real estate deal, and I'm going to go talk to this individual. Like, yo, man, I heard you're working on a deal. Tell me about it. Or that's just what I do. So to me, man, I think truth is, if you're more curious and connect with people today, you have a better opportunity than just being online and just being some kind of. And we do big internet. I mean, we spend millions a month just in advertising online, but still, at the end of the day, man, if you say, hey, I'll give you 5,000 people to hit the streets, or I'll give you, $1 million a month budget on marketing, I'm probably taking the 5,000 people on the street with a direct product, because you can do so much opportunity. It's big.
No, I love it. So let's pivot a little bit then and talk about, you have all these guys in these high level leadership positions, and I posted about it this morning on social media. I posted about, there's two reasons that people get into this business, and I'm talking about sales, right? The first is income, and the second is opportunity. And I said the second is most important. And so the reason that I believe that is because, anybody can go anywhere and be in sales and make six figures or make a bunch of money, whatever the case is. There's two kinds of opportunity: the income opportunity in terms of selling higher end products, less time on the phone, less time in front of the person or in the chat, right? And they're making bigger commissions. Or the second one is management, right? And so I guess what's your take on managing these high performing individuals, you know what I mean? And always, because it happens in any sales centric business, right? They get to a certain level and they're like, hey, I can do this myself. So how do you, I guess, keep the culture of the business good enough to where they want to stay?
Well, I think it depends on what environment you're selling, what product you're selling, what's the point of entry or barrier of entry, right? Real estate investing, it's very tough, right? Because barrier of entry is negative. I got involved in real estate investing with no cash, no credit, 18 years old, and I did deals and I started making money. So, as that, and I've built, I had 17 people acquiring properties for me at one time, and the churn rate on this is it's insane. Like we're in full-time hiring mode and fire, like it's just the cycle. And then I own another company in the media space. Dude, I don't have any churn. If anybody leaves, I fire, like we're firing them. They're not leaving us, because the barrier of entry, that's going to cost $1 million plus just to start. So if you leave me, if you saved $1 million, that'd be amazing. I hope they do, but like the likelihood of that happening is slim to none. And then, on the other side, you just have to have big enough. We don't have caps, so man, everyone's paid on performance and growth. So, understand, like, first of all, being a salesperson and being an owner, these are two, like business owner, two drastically different things. How do you handle when you get sued? How do you handle when you don't make any money for 3 months? How do you handle when you go negative for 6 months? How do you handle when your top tier guy quits and steals everything and money, takes out a $4 million loan on your name, and you got to deal with that? Like, the truth is most people can't deal with it. Very small percentage. And I'm coming more and more to realize that 26 years deep in the game, almost 27, is like, not everyone, dude, entrepreneurship sucks ass, to be honest. It's hard. It's hard. Like if you're making real six figures, like I have many guys making 6-7 figures a year with us. Like that's the place to be. You have no responsibilities. You get on the phone, you make sales, you make money, you may have a life. All the other stuff is, and as you know, man, when I started hiring out salespeople, there was a point where pretty much all of my salespeople were making way more money than I as the owner. I'm building a business. I didn't get paid for 3 years in a company where I had sales guys making $500,000 to $700,000 a year. I made $1 a year, and I'm taking the hits. I'm taking all the investment. I'm making the big investments in it. Like, so it's like, but then eventually I had a long vision of what I was looking to accomplish with that. Not everyone is crazy like we are, man.
No, I couldn't agree more. And you were listing all those things that kind of you've been through, and I've been through all of them except somebody taking a $4 million loan in my name. That's new.
It's nonstop. But listen, how do you deal with it? Right now with what's going on in the world, Doug, as you know, man, people are going batshit crazy already. And there's nothing that's really happened real hard. The hard is about to happen. It's going to really change a lot of dynamics. But that's what I love about sales too, and I'm sure you do. Like, I have a lot of confidence, man. I can sell anything. And by the way, that could backfire. Just because you can sell it doesn't mean you should sometimes. Right. So I'm not a hardcore sales guy. I'm more of a relationship sales strategy. That's my model, Doug. I think you asked that question earlier. Like, I'm very, connect, understand what they're doing, what they're trying to do. What I do is not for everybody. If it's for you, I'll talk about it. If not, that's why my conversion rates are so much different than most people, because I'm not even presenting to you, Doug, if I don't think it's a fit. Like, why? Why piss you off? Why piss me off? And I know everyone's like, well, you always leave 2 offers, blah, blah. Yeah, but man, you just get it's false hope, man. And I'm talking basic sales, guys. It's false hope. I made 100 offers this week. Dude, these offers are going nowhere. You didn't get any offers. And then you got the other person in the office saying, dude, I made 4 offers and 4 accepted. I'm crushing it. I just made $100,000 this week. That creates a weird conflict with, personalities and culture in a company. So back to my high-end guys, dude, like, I hire amazing people. They're way smarter than me, but they don't want to do what I don't want to do, and I don't want to do what they do. And I think that's what changed for me a long time ago, is I had partnerships, and all my partnerships were guys just like me. So we got excited. We talked a lot of shit, but no work ever got done. So you got to find these things, and these are guys I might not necessarily want to hang out with every day, and they don't want to hang out with me either, man. I'm talking a million miles per hour. I'm excited. I'm like Tasmanian devil, and they're more like, slow it down. Let's create a structure, framework this out. And I'm like, that's way too slow. Let's just go and break it.
That's me. I'm the framework and structure guy. Yeah. No, it's funny because, have you heard of, I'm sure you've heard of EOS, and then the visionary EOS. So entrepreneur operating system, the idea behind the visionary and the integrator. And you're obviously a visionary, and I lean integrator. I'm like an 89 integrator with the test, but I'm an 86 visionary as well. So I'm kind of one of those hybrids, but definitely lean integrator. When somebody pitches me a business idea, I'm thinking about how it works versus if it's going to work.
Wow, man. Listen, it's needed. It's needed out there. We use EOS in most of our companies. I don't go to those meetings because I literally want to jump off a bridge when I'm in there.
Yeah.
It's like watching paint dry for me, for real. It's very slow, very structured. That is not good at all.
Yeah, I have to facilitate my EOS now because I have a much smaller team. I went from running my sales award to full-time consulting, so I have a smaller team now. And so I got to facilitate my EOS meeting, whereas I had somebody else do it before. So hopefully soon Nika can take that over for me too.
As long as we can get it recorded, we'll be fine. It's good.
Absolutely. All right, brother. So you mentioned the media company earlier, and I'm guessing that's where kind of the documentary came from, since you had that in your back pocket. I noticed the making of the Deal Maker documentary. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. It's not through the media company. The media company is more in the financial advertising space. We send out about 1 billion emails a month out of that system. We're aggregating content and driving massive amounts of eyeballs through newsletters and online media marketing. But no, the Deal Maker family, that's the groups I have, high-end mastermind, et cetera. It's like, I wanted to kind of, about a year and a half ago, I started talking to my guys, like, the storm is on the horizon. Like, picture I'm in Florida, but I kind of know the storm, the hurricane's coming. I see it out there. Lots of people saw it. Very few people acknowledged it and did anything about it. So I was just prepping to, create something different, new, fresh, to get different eyeballs, to get different media, just change it up. And we could do the same things, expect different results, but right now, if you're not on the cutting edge and really like making big moves, I think you can get left behind pretty easy right now with what's going on.
Now, I checked out the trailer, and that is one thing I will say. It's definitely fresh in the sense that I'm around Apex, I'm around Real Business Owners Mastermind, and I see all these events that are advertised to me. I go to them sometimes just to kind of like get ideas and stuff like that, because I want to run my own someday around building great sales teams. And, you see a lot of the same thing. It's like, hey, I'm having this event and this is what you're going to learn at this event. But all they're really pushing is the people at the event. You know what I'm saying? And I noticed yours was very curriculum focused, you know what I mean? And it was talking about the 6 points or 6 tenets. Would you mind? Are you able to walk us through those?
I'm not, because I don't have them in front of me. My brain is fried on that stuff, dude. Like I said, it took 16 months to get to that point, and we had many tenants, right? But like we started like looking at it, but like be a deal maker or a dream maker kind of thing. Like there's a lot of different cool pieces in that. But at the end, this is a multi 6-figure investment to do that, though. 6 months, a couple hundred, 200, 300 grand, lots of travel, lots of a lot of disruption in your day because they're shooting videos with you, your family, you're flying all over, meeting different things. So, for me, what I'm all about is, that once you get to watch the whole thing, it should be out about 60 and 90 days. But it's not about making more money. It's not about all these things. It's not money flashing up. It's about, dude, like, here's the things that we need to focus on. Like, I'm all about thought auditing. What's these words mean? When I say rich, what does rich mean to you? I want to be stupid, filthy rich. Do you get mad or do you get excited? Like, these are all things like, where does this stuff come from? Mom, dad, cousin, uncle, mentors, whatever. And I think a lot of people just aren't clear on what words mean, and they toss the shit out. It's like water, like it's no big deal. But as we're evolving, we only got one shot at this thing called life, man, and we got to make the most of it. And I feel like that's what I've been put on here to do, is to get the message out at a higher level in a more consistent manner.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed about the trailer as well, is it wasn't, the planes and the cars and all that stuff, which is part of marketing. It's a necessary part of marketing. You know what I'm saying? But I'm very interested to see the rest of the video. How do you do that? Because I noticed it was a private showing type deal. So how would one go about?
In the next 90 days or so, we'll go live with it to the world. We're making a couple adjustments. That was the premiere opening, kind of see what it looked. It was actually the first time I ever saw the full video. So it was really cool. I had my parents there, my in-laws there, my kids there, and
that's
a lot of 150 friends and family members. So it was a really neat experience. And as you know, man, when you watch yourself or hear yourself, you're like, oh my God, it's absolutely. This is terrible. But at the end of the day, man, I'm cool to be vulnerable if it can make an impact. And I'm more worried about not doing enough than looking stupid.
No, that's fair. I love that. So one of the questions that we always ask on this show is, and this is really important to me because it's something that I've been studying for a couple of years now, and that's legacy, right? And so one of the questions that we ask is, what is legacy, or I should say two, what does legacy mean to you, and what legacy do you want to leave behind?
Yeah, man, legacy for me means a lot of things, but the simplest answer is memories. I do a lot of stuff right now as we're speaking. We're in we're in March of 2023. Me, my wife, and kids, we take a 1-week vacation each month for this whole year. So they're starting to get old enough to remember stuff. We can go hang out and be silly and go cool places. So legacy also, I want to implant, my traits inside of my children, through action. I know a lot of people legacy want to leave all this money and all this stuff. If you do this right, if my parents left me a lot of money, which they didn't, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I truly believe I wouldn't have understood it, and I wouldn't be where I'm at today financially, mentally, emotionally, physically at all. I might be dead, for God's sakes, who knows, depending. I didn't have the maturity level to manage that type of money, that type of wealth I have today. I would not even remotely. This is why lottery winners go broke most of the time, right? So. To me, his legacy is really creating these amazing moments of life with kids, like memories. I'll be laying on my deathbed, dude, and there's no way I'm thinking about, man, I wish I'd done another deal. It's gonna be, man, I should have been more present at X, Y, and Z. I should have taken that one extra trip with the kids. Like that's the stuff I'm thinking about on every single. I'm going to, actually in April. I'm taking my entire family to Maui for 2 weeks. My wife's family. These are legacy trips, by the way. That's what we call them, legacy family trips. I don't want to just make my dreams come true. I want to make their dreams come true. I'm more focused on their dreams because if they're happy, I'm ultra happy, And that's for my father-in-law, my cousin, my wife's brothers and sisters and kids. So, and I pick the tab up on everything because it's something I want to do and I can do. And I want to share with my kids. I share with them, like, here's what we're doing. Here's why we're doing it, and all that good stuff. So legacy to me, man, it's that's why I do books. That's why I do podcasts. That's why I do these shows. Because as you know, we're going to wake up one day. You have a 12-year-old, I have a 7 and a 4. We're going to wake up one day. We're not cool anymore. And then they're 18 to 22, 24, and they're like, man, that's kind of cool. I want to learn what he did. And they could go back and watch. That's why I do a book every year for the journey. Like I'm evolving every day. You and I are changing every day.
Hell yeah, I love it. But what I love about it is that it's incredibly focused on your kids and your family. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like all the other stuff, the book, the podcast, all the impact you're making out in the world, that's important too. And that's going to be a huge impact as well. But the first thing you talked about, 80% of that answer was your family taking those trips and a legacy of experiences. So no, I really appreciate you sharing that with us.
No, listen, I think everyone here should have a podcast show or a book or do all of the above. And the reason most don't is because it gets overwhelming because they're trying to please everyone. Yeah. The only reason I'm doing it is documenting where I'm at today and what I want to talk about. And then hopefully my kids will see it, my grandkids, my great-grand, people that I don't even know my lineage, in 150 years from now. Like they read this, they're like, wow, this is pretty cool stuff. Or wow, my great grandpa was a dupe, dope. So who knows what they'll say by then. But at the end of the day, man, just that's all I'm trying to do. Just be 1% better every day, man.
Well, Mark, I think you have an amazing message, and it should be shared with everybody possible. So, how can my listeners follow you?
Yeah, no, man, I appreciate it. Just simply follow me on social media at Mark Evans DM at all handles, or they could go over to the website markevansdm.com. As you know, we have a podcast show. We have Instagram. I'm sharing content every day. Like I genuinely want to help people get to the next step.
Oh, that's fantastic. I appreciate that. And thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, Doug. Appreciate you.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Building Great Sales Teams podcast. We really do appreciate it. As you know, we believe that great leaders build great teams. How do you become a great leader? You learn from the greats. Join us at the $1 Million Mastermind put on by Ryan Stewman in Frisco, Texas, and learn everything that you need to learn to be that great leader. The link will be in the description below. As always, we ask that you like, share, and subscribe wherever you consume podcasts so you can stay up to date with the Building Great Sales Teams podcast. Let's get building.